Top five, top five, top five.
Yeah, girl. You ready to do this? You ready to count this thing down? We're doing the top five, her. Yeah, set it off with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ranked Top 5 List of Stuff That Don't Matter. I'm your host, Tuong La, and today we're going anime. Pew 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 pew, Kamehameha Nandato stuff. I don't know, I'm not Japanese. I shouldn't pretend and even try, but I'm just really excited for this episode. And today we have a crew that is also jazzed up and jacked up for anime, but my next guest that I'm going to introduce is more jazzed up about their new cat. We have cat master Axandre Lemours.
What's going on? It's true. It is I, and I am fostering a beautiful kitty.
Yeah, how does that feel?
Oh, it's very nice, honestly. He's the chillest dude. I'm taking care of him for my sister's friend while she's in France, so it's going to be a few months probably.
Oh my God, France?
Yeah. I think she was over there before everything broke out.
So would you rather be in France or take care of this cat if you had to choose?
No, I mean, do I have to choose? I could take the cat to France.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You'd like it.
That's definitely an option. What's
the
cat's
name?
Yeah, what's the cat's name?
His name is Jake, so I'm training him to respond to Peralta as well.
Very good.
Jake the Cake.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine fans out there are rejoicing
yes,
everywhere.
Yes.
Axe, can you introduce the next guest for me, please?
Yes, the person to my imaginary left is new to the Pod Cavern, and I am very much looking forward to hearing what she thinks of anime and video games and everything else while we become the best of friends. It's Whitney Chan. What's good?
Whitney Chan, everyone. Hello, Whit.
Hello. Thank you for the introduction, Axe.
Yes.
And I'm very honored to be on the pod today
Wow.
as a new guest. Thank you,
Yeah, we're
Tom.
excited to hear your hot takes, Whit. I'm going to have to be professional to you today, I think. Whit and I have a relationship where we bug the shit out of each other. Let's just say that.
It's more like Tom just bugs the shit out of me.
That's true.
You know
That's
what?
true.
A one-sided relationship.
I get that, totally.
Yeah, everybody kind of gets it, I think. I've scared a lot of guests away from the Pod Cavern, and now Whit is the last guard that I have to come onto the podcast. But hey, Whit, I'm excited to be civil with you, at least in the beginning.
I think civil is one way to put it.
Whit, can you introduce the final guest to the Pod Cavern, also brand new to the fray?
Certainly, my fellow McDonald's lover and my upcoming best friend alongside Axe, I'd like to introduce Kalvin!
Hey,
Calvin.
guys.
Hello, Calvin. Welcome to the show.
I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to meet another McDonald's lover, so that's really
Yeah, because that's such a rare thing. Calvin, it's so nice to finally get you in here. I know this has kind of been the plan for a while, but you're here. You made it.
I did. I did get lost a little bit, so it is a little bit difficult, but I'm glad that we're here, and I'm glad that we're doing this.
Yeah, the Pod Cavern is a really hard place to find, but the next tip I can give you is the Pod Cavern is wherever your heart is. So that's where you have to look next time.
So I'll never get lost. I'll be okay.
You'll never get lost. That's right. All right, well, we're starting off on a really sweet note, but today I think we might get heated. It might happen. Ooh. Today we're talking about anime. Today we're talking about top 5 anime shows, but we also wanted to cater it to, anime might not be for everyone. Some people look at anime and they put up their nose and they're like, oh, anime, that's a kid's thing. What is with all these fireballs? Why is his hair glowing? I'm specifically talking about one anime, but at the same time, I feel like there's kind of like a negative connotation to anime, especially growing up. I've always loved it. I'm sure you all did too. But I think only in the most recent of years that anime has really kind of entered into the cultural zeitgeist of the world and is really starting to blossom. We're kind of seeing this with Netflix, where you don't even need a Crunchyroll subscription these days. Netflix is just dropping anime on anime in Japanese too.
Yep. It's nice to see. Honestly, I like how much more popular it's gotten. Obviously, there's been like golden ages of anime and animation over the years, but yeah, as you said, I don't think it's been like in the forefront quite as much as it is now, and it's a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, exactly. What is your experience with, or how do you like anime?
Excuse me?
Do you even like
Do you
anime?
know
Anime?
who
What's
you're
that?
speaking with? Well,
Amazing.
I will be honest, I actually don't like watching stuff usually, but anime has a special place in my heart, so I make an exception for it.
Very good, very good. And Calvin, how about yourself?
I'm a big fan of anime. I'm super happy to see that we've finally started to be, all this anime knowledge and like this love of anime is finally being disseminated into the popular culture, because before it's so niche. And then
Exactly,
now you've got
yeah.
stuff like Space Force talking about, Full Metal Alchemist, and you're like, what?
Whoa. Let's save it for the nomination round there, Calvin. Let's not spoil any nominations here. You know what? How about we talk about ground rules, too? Like, what do you guys think? We're really trying to introduce anime to people who are like, I'm curious, Podcavern, of what I should watch, but I just don't know what. What do you think makes a good anime show for a beginner, or just general ground rules for the show?
Well, yeah, I think those are two different questions. Like, if you're asking what makes a good anime show, that's something that would need to come up in the nominations.
Yeah.
Like, you need to tell me why your show is a good anime show for a beginner. But
Right.
then in terms of ground rules, I'd forgotten that we weren't including films. But otherwise, that's about it. I think for a minute I was thinking, like, I'm going to hesitate to name certain anime because they're so ubiquitous. But, like, let's just assume that whoever's asking the Podcavern has literally never seen any anime. And go from there is where
or
I
they've
think
watched
where
like
I'd settle.
one and they have they caught the bug and they want to keep
Yes,
it going, kind of thing. Yeah.
totally. So anything's on the table.
I agree. Wait, Calvin, do you have any ground rules you want to put forth to the table?
I think for me, the only thing would be no hentai.
Good call.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
There's
I didn't even-
there's a thing there, because we're like, do we go like super close? Because there's certain anime that have a lot of fan service that
Yeah.
some might consider hentai.
Yeah, but do they
true.
show a full boob and nipple? Because that's when I would say it's
Okay,
hentai,
so
right?
yeah, that's the definition then. Is there a full
Yeah.
boob? No? Okay, not hentai.
I don't
Usually-
know. I feel like some people, and maybe this is part of the reason why anime has such a not bad rap, but like questionable rap among people who don't watch anime is, the excessive fan service,
Yeah, I think, anime at its worst and awkwardness, especially if you're watching anime and a friend comes over and they're finishing an episode and there's some weird pervy stuff happening. Underage girls who just happen to look like adults with giant boobies, and guys who are like 16-year-olds old, but they look like they are a bodybuilder. There's some weird stuff that happens in anime,
It's
for
odd.
sure.
I feel like we're naturally gonna try and avoid that kind of stuff. Like, the ground rule will probably be there, but like unwritten. But then but then we can case by case it if it comes up.
For sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. Yeah, anything else that we want to put forth? I think we can obviously catch it as it comes, but I think the notion that it's good for beginners is kind of like anime that isn't too, complex, I guess, or it relies on you needing to have watched a lot of anime before watching this particular show.
Oh,
I agree
okay.
with
So
that.
less meta stuff.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so, but if you can make a case for it, then I'm pretty open to it as well.
Cool.
Shall we just get into it then?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Just like every episode of Ranked, we're going to go around 3 times, nominating 3 nominations each, making a master list of 12 and whittling that down to a top 5 anime shows for beginners list. ETT, I can't even do it. I always try to do the Itikekimasu kind of thing, but I always fuck it up.
I was like,
All
what
right,
is he
all right.
saying?
I fucked it up. Let's get a cleaner take. Calvin, go ahead.
Itadakimasu.
Oh, that's way better. That's really good. You questioned yourself, but that was way better than me.
Done.
I'll go first, and let's just say Calvin already kind of ruined it for me. I had a whole spiel about this show that I just finished rewatching, and I had a freaking blast. I think it's a very accessible show for beginners, and I'm talking about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Thank you.
That's my nomination.
Dude, fighting words.
What? Oh,
I don't think that's
gonna be fun.
I don't think that's a controversial a statement to say that this anime was at the forefront. I mean, it's one of the most popular animes of its time in its original form, and then Brotherhood came out, which is, to people who don't know, it's the anime of Full Metal Alchemist that sticks to the manga, because when the original came out, the manga wasn't finished yet, so they kind of went their own kind of way, which was still really well regarded, but this one I think just tops the cake there. It's just so good. Animation's really good. The voice acting's incredible. The story and the heart of it all is really good too. And I guess we can describe what the show is about every time we nominate something.
Oh, totally. You're selling it.
Yeah,
Makes
I'm
sense.
gonna sell it. So, not to spoil, I'll just give you the general synopsis, which is two young brothers who are alchemists in this world, and they did something which was against the alchemy rules. They did some taboo, and they ended up losing. One of them lost their body, and one of them lost parts of their body. And it's a whole mission to basically restore themselves to how they were before and get their bodies back. And along the way, we see some crazy shit that goes down, I have to say. So,
Absolutely.
I don't want to ramble on too much, but how about the rest of you? Have you all seen this anime, and what do you think about it?
Yes.
Yes.
And yes.
Well, we
Yes,
said
I've seen
yes
it,
twice
and yes-
because you saw
yeah.
one and then the other one, right?
Exactly. Yes, I saw the first one. Yes, I saw Brotherhood, and yes, it's amazing.
Right.
So I fully agree. I think it'd be good for a beginner.
Whit, what about you? I know you told me in confidence that you saw a lot of it, but you didn't finish it.
Yeah, that's correct. And despite not watching all of it, I do kind of know how it ends. And even though I haven't watched all of it, I will say that it is a classic, and there's no argument from me here that it belongs on this list.
Oh, amazing. And Calvin, how about yourself here?
I watched it all. I think I'm going to say a controversial opinion because I like the first one better than Brotherhood.
Get out of here.
I still love the concept, and like
Right.
both of
Of
them are so good.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
You're right. The first one is good, but Calvin, you just had to go there, didn't you?
So, as someone who has not finished it, is this a spoiler-free podcast, or...
Yeah, let's say it's a spoiler-free podcast. I don't think you need to be able to spoil the story
Okay.
to sell the show on somebody.
Oh, that's
Because if
true.
we're making recommendations to people, it would really suck if it's like, oh yeah, and at the end this happens. You're like, oh
Valid,
shit.
true.
True. And like like Full Metal, for example, has like 50 or 60 episodes depending on which one you watch. So
Yep.
why would you spoil something that happens way later on? Just let
Yeah.
them get there.
Valid.
It's definitely a ride, and I think my favorite thing about anime in general is that anime has a thing where like it's only 20-minute episodes, but you can watch like 7 in a row no problem because the way it does its cliffhangers, you're like, oh shit, now I
yeah.
gotta watch the next one.
Fully valid. Yep.
Yeah, and I think Full Metal Alchemist does a good job with that. Axe, what do you got?
Okay. For the first one, dang. Okay. I'm going to go with another classic, this timeless space western about a pair of bounty hunters and their dope-ass ship and the crew members they meet along the way and all the crazy shenanigans that happens in between. It is Cowboy Bebop.
Oh shit!
Lots of action, some lighthearted comedy, some really cool, powerful, serious moments, top-tier voice acting, an amazing English dub tongue.
Wow.
I should
I'm
probably
agree with that. Yeah.
I should probably
So
say
good.
I am definitely the person who's like, I love the Japanese version because I just love Japanese, the dialect of Japanese. It's just so interesting to me, and they just sound so fucking badass. But it is, for me, far in between. Like, I can't find really good dubs, and
Yeah.
I would say that Cowboy Bebop did have a good dub. So there
Of
you go.
course, it's like it's like the essential. Which I think is good for a beginner. Like for someone who's trying to get into it, they might want to watch it in English.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
would help. Also, there's a super intelligent corgi in this show, And the music is absolutely fantastic. It's totally stood the test of time. What did it come out, like 20 years ago?
Yeah, it's really old.
It's a classic, and I love the shit out of it, and I need to rewatch it sometime soon.
John Cho is supposed to be in Cowboy Bebop, the live action,
Right?
correct?
Is he playing Spike, or was that someone else?
I think he is, but he got like an injury, and then COVID happens. I'm not really sure the status of that.
Yeah, I don't know where that is anymore. But that would be cool. Honestly, like I'm looking forward to seeing it. I hope it's good. It's going to be hard for it to be good next to the original because that is so damn good. But we'll see.
How about you two? What did you think about Cowboy Bebop, or do you have any recollection of how it was when you were younger? If you watched it,
I have not watched it, but I have heard that it was good. So
I feel like a lot of this podcast is just going to be us going, what?
it's like, what do you mean? You're the anime expert.
I think I watched it as a kid on. Do you guys remember Winamp? It was like a free streaming thing from back in the day. It would have episodes of Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
And like there was this one episode where he was just running around with like there's like a weed plant or something. I didn't understand what that was about. I'm like, wow, this seems like a very interesting plant. Clearly people like it. And I just loved it for, the cowboyness of it. But like, now you rewatch it, and I like rewatched it maybe a couple weeks ago, in anticipation for this, and like there's so many more nuances you see as an adult.
Yes, it's one of those, right, where there's way more. The older you are, the more jokes you'll get, the more dialogue you'll like fully understand. It's really cool for that.
I think when you're younger, you really just care about the punchy mostly. Like, are they fighting? Are they fighting fast? Are they doing some cool poses? That's what I really liked when I was younger. But yeah, Cowboy Bebop, that's one that I really wish to return to. I don't know if it's really readily available to stream. Do you know?
I'd have to look. It might be on Funimation. I don't know. Otherwise, you could get it, I think, like on Blu-ray or something.
Well, you had me at Space Weed. Whit, what do you got as your first nomination?
Ooh, so my first nomination is also a classic about a certain orange jumpsuit wearing, blonde ramen loving boy that is a host to. Okay, maybe I'm going too far, but the anime that I would like to nominate first is Naruto.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, and I would like to add a personal anecdote to this nomination.
Please, yes.
When I was in grade 7 or grade 8, I had a boyfriend, and he was super, super into anime. And this was before I was into anime, and at the time, I thought that anime was overrated. And I especially thought that Naruto was overhyped. But then, because my boyfriend at the time, he was into it, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll give it a try, and see why he likes it so much. So I watched the first episode, or not the first episode, one of the early episodes on YTV back when it was broadcasted there.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the episode was about, but it was just so funny, and the characters were so lovable, and from that moment I was hooked.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
So there's your real life testimony of Naruto getting someone into anime.
And now she's on an anime podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You're an expert now. You Kage Bunshin no Jutsu all the way to the top of the anime experts. You Rasenganed into our hearts. This only makes sense to people who watch anime, so I don't know why I'm saying this for beginners. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I have very fond memories of Naruto.
I can't believe you pronounced it that way, Tuong.
Yeah, well, that's how I pronounced it back in the day. I always just called it Naruto.
True, everyone did.
Everyone did, and I know it's Naruto or whatever you want to say, but I'm not pretentious like that, I guess.
That's debatable.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. And I was just so fucking pumped about it. It just was such an interesting show, and it was so simple, and it was the animation was just so top notch. And then Naruto Shippuden came out, and that went way off the rails in a lot of good ways, but sometimes it went, you're like, what's that really happening here? I have a question for you guys. Did you watch the fillers to Naruto, I guess?
I haven't seen all of the filler because it was quite a bit. But I've seen a lot of it because Naruto, like, of all of the huge shonen, Naruto was definitely one that I latched onto. So I watched a lot of the filler growing up.
Yeah. Calvin, yourself?
I think it's part of just loyalty. I'm like, I gotta watch this because it's Naruto.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. It was such a good show that it kind of went on, like, it felt like a year, like a solid year and a half of just filler. And even though it was already written in the manga what would happen next, they just wouldn't release an episode that was like a true episode. So it was just like Naruto like making ramen. That was one of the episodes, and you're like, well, shit.
God damn it.
But yeah, I would say the filler is kind of what brings down that show. But it is an amazing show.
So I'm gonna be honest. I did not finish watching Naruto the traditional way. So what I mean by that is there are Naruto games on PC and on the Switch, and probably on the PlayStation and Xbox too. And what those games do is they actually are very true to the entire Naruto story, and Shippuden as well.
Are you talking about the Ultimate Ninja games?
Yes, I am. I think Axe knows where I'm going with this, but anyways,
please,
so I tried those games on a whim, and we all know how anime games usually are. They're usually pretty crappy. To put it lightly. But these games were fantastic, and also the animation quality it was literally like the anime. And because it's a game, they actually managed to condense the story very well. So if you like play the games, you actually get a full like watching of the entire story.
Yeah, you play the story in chapters. It's
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. And so it's maybe I'll get like flamed for saying this, but I think it's basically like watching the entire anime.
Except
That's,
you also
no, that's
I would
fair.
agree with you.
That's fair. Would you say it's the preferred way to do it?
I think if you don't want to, like, considering how many episodes there are,
Like 400?
yeah, exactly. And that's
a
just
good
for
argument.
Shippuden, I think. So
Yeah.
if you value your time, or if you would rather spend your time on other things, like watching other anime too, I would say that the game is a good way to like soak up the whole story.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I love it. Calvin, what do you have as your first nomination?
My first nomination is
Yes,
a classic. It is a love story that transcends time. It's about a girl that falls into a well, and she meets this demon, and they collect like parts of a jewel. We're going Inuyasha.
Let's go.
Wow. I love how Axe like has to gasp like at the
Thank
lead
you,
up
Axe.
to
That was
everything.
fantastic. Thank you.
I don't want to like upstage Calvin or anything. It's just that Inuyasha was really like the first anime that I dove into.
Mine too.
Nice.
Yes.
Go on, please.
Yes,
So
please,
okay,
please
it's
go
like
on.
I think from a beginner's perspective, it's like it's got a really easy plot to like follow. You're just collecting things, and then it's a sword that just keeps growing and growing, and so it's like, oh yeah, I can latch onto those two simple concepts, and then you just have it a nice adventure.
It's kind of Monster of the Week in that sense too. Like I
Exactly.
watched it on YTV and stuff, so seeing new episodes every week, I was like, okay, cool, new demon that they have to face, and then sometimes the big bad shows up and they have to fight him off or some shit. And it was good. I liked.
Agreed.
It was such a fantastic show. I was gonna say for its time, but it was really, really good. I was unfortunately cut short. I remember like YTV or whatever animation studio, I guess it was Funimation maybe, but they were like, we're gonna end in this arc, and they never finished it, and that really upset me as a child. I was like, oh my god, what am I don't know how to look up like how to read the original manga and like finish everything, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and apparently they're continuing it finally.
Oh, good. God,
Actually, the original story was continued a couple years ago, and then they're making a continuation, like a sequel to that, with like their children and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
So it's
But
like
we'll see.
Boruto?
Oh, kind of like Boruto, I
Yeah,
guess.
kind of like Boruto.
Oh, well, if it's kind of like Boruto, then I really don't want to watch it.
I haven't watched Boruto. I don't know anything about it, honestly. But no, I mean, new Inuyasha, I'd be down.
Yeah.
I'd
yeah.
give it a chance.
I give it a chance. Were you all about, like, my cousin's gamer name for the ever, and probably still now, is Tessaiga, which is the name of the sword.
What a nerd!
I think I was all about Sesshomaru because I'm like, yo, like he's so badass.
He
Doesn't have
is.
Tessaiga. Don't care. Gonna
Yup.
do my
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah, he's a big Vegeta for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Wit, how about you? I feel like you would like Inuyasha.
Would I? I
Maybe.
actually,
Like, the love story in Inuyasha is very sweet, I think.
that's true. I'll be honest. I know next to nothing about Inuyasha, but I do know about Inuyasha and Kagome.
Okay, good. The two.
Yeah.
That's like most of the story.
Time-crossed lovers. Yeah, they're the ones who run into all the shit. So done
It's
it.
for sure. Wait, I don't want to call you out or anything, but I feel, and I'm not, but I feel
I'm
like
sure you're
Wit
not.
loves to write. She's a fan fiction writer.
Oh.
And I feel like if you watch this show, maybe you wouldn't love the entire show, but I feel like you'd write a Inuyasha
Oh my
Kagome
God.
fanfic.
Oh
Tom,
my God.
please do not give me more things to write about.
Whit and
I'm just saying.
I
Whit
do
and
not
I
need
are
more
going
things to write
be-
about.
Whit and I are going to be best friends. I read a lot of fan fiction based on anime all through high school. It was
Oh my
fun.
god.
So hold on. I just brought up fanfiction.net. Naruto, by a long shot, is the #1 source of fanfiction.
Yep.
Oh my
Inuyasha
lord.
is number 3.
What's
There
number 2?
you.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is Hitalia Axis Powers, which I have
Oh,
I
not
don't even
watched.
know what that is.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not surprised that Inuyasha is number 3. There's like apparently over 120,000 stories that have been written, and Naruto is ahead by a long shot at 432,000.
Oh my god.
One per episode.
Well, apparently there's a giant market out there for you.
Oh yeah, totally. Jump
Yeah,
in.
yeah. Let's go into round 2, everybody. Round 2. What a
Yeah.
powerful round 1. That round 1 was over 9,000 for sure. And I think with that, I will segue into my next nomination. Which, I was like, is this really the thing that I want to go next with anime shows for beginners? And when I really thought about it, I'm like, yes, because this is the show for sure that got me into anime. Every single week, every single day on YTV, I was just so pumped to watch the show, even though we had to watch reruns on reruns on reruns every single time. I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. I mean, it was inevitable, and I figured Tuong would be the one to nominate it.
I was
Hey,
surprised
it's-
it didn't come up in the first round.
It's true. I mean, I think Dragon Ball Z was such a pivotal show for a lot of people growing up with anime. I
Totally.
mean, like, it's not a complicated show, which I think is what makes it a very accessible anime to people. You don't need to know Dragon Ball to have watched Dragon Ball Z. I didn't.
Yeah, no, that's not.
I never watched Dragon Ball in its entirety. So I think they do a good job kind of like throwing you into this universe, even though you're like, why is that pig talking? Why is this old man super strong? That kind of stuff. Who is this green man? I think they do a good job ramping things up. And then you quickly realize the show, even though it has some very strong story beats throughout the show, it is a really cool, like, just visual feast, I guess. You just watch some cool blasts and beams and people fighting really quick. And and then towards the end of the show, especially like the Cell saga or the Majin Buu saga, which are the 2 last sagas of the entire series, is the emotion of these characters and what happens in these arcs is like actually really, really engaging, and you really want to see what happens next. So Dragon Ball Z, it seems like a really easy lob of an answer, but I think it definitely belongs on this list.
Yeah, I feel you.
Oh my god, it was like the highlight of my afternoon. So I would run home as fast as I can from school, and it honestly got me to be way more active than I was before, because, I don't know, a small part of me thought that if I just trained a little harder, maybe I could go Super Saiyan 2.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Or sorry, Super Saiyan
Always.
as well.
Absolutely. Who didn't?
So my mom would just be like, why are you doing so many push-ups? I'm like, just cuz. I just got to.
Have a rolling time chamber, Mom.
Mom, pump up the gravity. And there's an episode in Dragon Ball Z where they teach you how to fly. I'm like, this is it. They're finally telling us how to fly. And I tried it for so long. It doesn't work.
No,
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Whit, how about you? What do you feel about, men screaming and changing their hair color?
That's an oddly specific question. I will say that I have never watched Dragon Ball Z before, but even as someone who has never watched it, like, the name is so recognizable. It's like as iconic as Pokemon. You'd have to live under a rock to not know what Dragon Ball Z is, so I'm cool with it being on the list.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. And with that, Axe, what do you have?
Yes. Okay. Another shonen anime, big action, huge cast, interesting characters, hype-ass fights. It's about a little boy who's born without superpowers in a world where they've become commonplace. And he has dreams of becoming a hero despite this small issue that he has. It's called My Hero Academia, and it's my new favorite shonen. It's awesome, and everyone should watch it. So
It's so fucking good.
I love it. I'm not even done like catching up yet, and I'm ready to recommend it because it's brought back that sense of wonder I get whenever I watch a really hype fight in an anime. On top of that, the main character, Deku, is the kind of nerdy kid that you can really root for. Like, especially as he comes into his own later on, it's just a really nice thing to see. And then the rest of the side characters are also really interesting, and they get a lot of screen time, which I appreciated. So I think all around, it's a really good show and really easy for someone to jump into because the concept is nice.
Yeah, especially in the age of superheroes and superpowers. Like, I think it's really easy to be like, oh, a superhero show, anime show, like, what's up with that? Because they kind of play into that, right? Like, the whole thing is them signing up to be superheroes, basically, right? And they're going to schools to be better superheroes. But I think what this anime does is it turns a lot of tropes on its head, like traditional Western tropes, and they do like really fun things to the formula of what you think superhero shows would be. And I think that's what the biggest success of the show is. Not only it's just like strong voice acting, music and action and all that stuff, but they just do something that I have never seen in another like superhero format before.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
How about you two? What do you think?
Well, I actually don't know a lot about My Hero Academia, but I have a lot of friends who recommend it and have been raving about it.
Yup.
They tweet nonstop about it,
Yup,
and they talk
same.
about how Deku is. I'm trying to remember the exact quote, but kind of like a precious little cinnamon bun.
I believe that.
I would say that,
totally. And that's the thing. Like, I think in some other shows, or at least other shows that might have this level of action, seeing a tiny little, I mean, no, he's not a coward. He's literally the opposite. But seeing this tiny little kid who's all meek and shy sometimes, it's hard to be like, yes, do the thing. But then, I don't know, Deku has that unshakable willpower of his where he will do literally anything to do the right thing. And it's nice to see.
That's really interesting because, again, I don't know much about the show or about Deku aside from what I just described, but it sounds like he's not the typical shonen protagonist.
Definitely not.
I would agree. Yeah. No, he's not. He's like, I don't know. He's not the, oh no, I'm just gonna take whatever it is. He's very human. He's kind of like, you see him like mess up, and he's like, he cries probably the most out of any shonen protagonist that I've ever seen. And like, I'm super okay with that. But it's like, oh, that's new.
Yeah.
Totally. But he also has that Goku thing about him, like the never give up mentality of like, I'm not the best, but I need to just do the best I can in life, and I need to prove myself, which is always something that a good protagonist in anime like is. Like, I just like want to root for him and be like, oh yes, Deku, kick that guy's ass,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have a quick point about My Hero Academia that I just wanted to bring up. Do you guys get that? Like, so I like we talked about before, I loved Naruto, and that whole arc with the tuning exam. Do you guys kind of get like the nostalgia for that whenever you
Yes.
watch My Hero Academia,
Yes.
the sports festival?
Literally, I put it in my notes. Tournament arcs are my favorite thing.
Yes.
That is such
Absolutely.
a anime trope.
No, it really is. But like the fact that, I mean, without spoiling anything, in My Hero, it's tournament arc after tournament arc so far,
Yep.
and I'm 3 seasons in. It's so good. I love it because the tuning exams were like my favorite part of Naruto, at least like the series before Shippuden. So I totally
Right.
agree.
I love it. Which, what do you have? Second nomination.
Ooh, so, there's an anime on my list that I think would be a perfect segue from My Hero Academia. But I'm gonna shelve it for now in favor of another anime. This anime was also considered a classic back in its time. Not so sure about right now, but it's about a dude,
Okay.
and he's in high
right.
school.
Okay.
That could be any anime.
And
I love
just
high
wait
school
for it,
anime.
wait for it. And he's a regular human being until one day he meets a special kind of ghost. And this
Okay.
ghost grants him special powers.
Oh,
Oh, I should say it. Say it.
Is this should I provide more detail or
Oh yeah, but this, I
We
guess
are-
provide a
we're right
little
there
more
with
hype.
you.
We get it, but
okay.
you keep
And
hyping
this
it up.
boy, he's always been able to see ghosts, and he's always wanted to help them, I guess. And then he realizes that not all ghosts are good spirits, and there are evil spirits out there too. And he ends up with the power to be able to purify these spirits.
ooh.
I'm very bad at
No,
synopses.
you got it.
In case you
We
guys
are on
didn't
the
know
edge
yet.
of our seats.
The
Just tell us what it
the
is.
series I'm talking about is Bleach.
Nice.
Nice.
Whoa.
Of
We're all
course.
just waiting for the
Bleach.
beat drop.
Tong, you sound disappointed.
No. I mean, I totally get it. I love this anime. I can totally, or I loved this anime, I should say, with an asterisk.
Yep.
I can totally see how it would be a good beginner anime show
Yes.
for sure. I definitely see that. It is a show that had a lot of promise in my head, but I don't know if it completely landed it, in my personal taste anyways, but damn if it didn't have any, like a lot of style when it came out.
Oh yeah, totally. So for me, this is actually the second anime that I got into after Naruto, and it quickly actually surpassed Naruto as my favorite anime. Back in the day, not now, but back in the day. Yeah, just there were so many interesting characters. The premise itself too was very interesting, and I think that Ichigo, he's a very attractive character. Not to say that
can say
Naruto
it.
isn't
Somebody
attractive,
had to say it.
but and aside from that, he's a very interesting character too. Like looking back on it now, he has a lot of the shonen protagonist tropes, but I think he's a really good guy and like a really good shonen hero. And then of course Rukia next to him is like amazing, not a typical I guess like shonen female character at all.
Right,
Very strong
right.
on her own.
She's a queen. Yes.
Yes. And then the whole, I don't know, it just built up to such a good plot, especially after they go to Soul Society.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after that is when things fall off.
He's
But as a
gonna go.
beginner, if you're a beginner and new to anime, I think that Bleach is, it's very good at sucking you in.
Yeah.
That is true.
And then I'll spit you right back up. But it is, no, I completely agree. Calvin, you've watched Bleach, yeah?
Oh, I loved Bleach. See, the only thing that I think I like more than a tournament arc is a retrieval arc.
Oh, okay.
So, like, retrieving Sasuke, getting Bakugo back, Rukia, and so, like, it has everything for me, Yeah, big fan of Bleach.
I feel that.
I didn't even think about that as an anime trope. I was thinking of like it has an episode at the beach where everyone's at the beach for whatever, and then they objectify their women characters.
I hate
and
how
there's-
that's what you took away from it.
Oh my god! But Bleach did that, and I'm like, oh my god, these people they're ghosts. They're dead or whatever.
They can.
They're hanging out at the beach,
Yep.
being attractive. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll do top 5 anime crushes, but I think things might get too weird. So maybe
Honestly, probably.
I'm totally down.
I'm
for
counting
that.
on that. That'd be great.
But no hentai. We've already established
Yes.
that even for that episode.
Yeah.
Calvin, what do you got as your second nomination?
Okay, so it's a little newer, but I think that it's a good anime, and it starts off with a subject that people can really follow and like jump in. So my nomination is a story about a transfer student that joins this basketball team. And then this team is kind of like, it's an okay team, but then he comes in and this like other dude comes in who has like special techniques, and they take the team to the win.
Yes.
I'm talking about Kuroko no Basket.
Nice. For sure.
Yes. A sports anime. I was hoping someone would say something
Right?
like this. That's amazing.
I was talking about doing the podcast with my sister, I think earlier this week, and she wanted me so much to mention Kuroko no Basket. So this is going to be good for her to hear.
Yeah.
Calvin, why would you say that this is a easy anime for beginners, and why did you like it so much?
So I liked the first thing was like, okay, so when my brother introduced me to it, he actually showed me the Raptors cut of the Kuroko no Basket opening. So it was just us
Excuse
like
me?
winning, but like, with all these like, energy and like people like zooming around and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. What was the basis for this? And he was like, oh, it's this anime called Kuroko no Basket.
I've never
And I was
seen
like,
that.
I am so down.
Yo.
Like whatever this is, like show it to me. And it's cool because it satisfies like, your basketball needs, but also it gives you that like anime powers, sort of like it scratches that itch.
Totally. I find with sports anime, and this happens with every sports anime that I watch, is like if it's a really good one, it makes me want to play the sport. Even though I can't recreate those cool things that they do. But I find with sports anime, they do such a good job with like using anime logic to slightly, I don't know, adjust the rules of the universe of the real world and be like, no, it totally makes sense because, the way his finger is on the ball, he twists it like this. And if he does that, it turns into like a hurricane or something. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That's a good way to put it, honestly.
So with I always knew it as Kuroko's basketball, like that's how I called it. But I played basketball for like 3 months straight at the Movati gym afterwards.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was just like, I'm going to be really good at basketball now. Well, Ax, you said you watched the show?
I haven't. Like, I've only seen a few episodes, but my sister was really into it. So, like, she's the one who got me to start. I definitely need to continue because I do like sports anime, like the competition of it. I think it's also why tournament arcs are so appealing to me. So I need to check it out. I need to check out some other sports anime as well. But it definitely looked good. Like, I liked what I saw.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. But you know what else is a good one? All of our nominations for round 3. I have a pretty long list here, but I've been kind of saving this one because I'm curious as to what people feel about this show on the list as an anime. And I have an argument for it, but I think it might be a controversial nomination.
I think
So hear
Let's
me
hear
out.
it.
Okay.
I am talking about, let's just say, someone who was trapped in ice. Not Captain America.
Yes, the classic anime, The Avengers.
I'm talking about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. No. Let's just say that this is, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh.
It's a Nickelodeon show.
right.
It's an American-made anime. There are several people who would define anime different. Some people say anime is just cartoons made in Japan, or some people would judge it on different factors like how it looks. I would say like Avatar: The Last Airbender blends anime and like Western cartoons together, and in the way it like the arcs in that show and the tropes of that show also lend well to like, this is definitely an anime. What do you guys think about this nomination of just being an anime?
It's odd because I mean there are definitely some other shows that kind of skirt that line. So I think I'd be okay with it. it's at least it's on the correct side, I'd say. It's made by Nickelodeon, but then you've got stuff like Castlevania, which is done by Netflix and a bunch of American studios, but looks way more like an anime and is definitely the kind of thing that they're trying to do. So in the case of Avatar, I see it kind of like that. Like, yeah, it's an anime because look at their faces. They're so expressive.
Yeah. Their faces, what they do. Yeah. What else? Like the Appa, like giant, like big teddy bear in the sky. Like it's very like outlandish ideas, but like it's very Asian inspired too. The whole show is just brimming with like Asian inspired ideas. So, what do you think, Wade and Calvin?
Well, they have a beach episode. So that's what makes me like, I'm like, I think it's an anime because it's got a beach episode.
Sold. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, and Whit, what do you think?
I hate how that's the first thing you thought of. Can't argue with that. I mean, it was really good. Like, at other anime level quality.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it checks a lot of the boxes.
Yeah, and I'm willing to consider it.
Yeah, okay, because like to me, Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the most underrated shows, I think, in a lot of ways. And people, I was just doing some research, and it sounds like people have made the argument that Avatar: The Last Airbender is definitely an anime because of all the tropes that matches exactly with anime, Asian inspired, the way it's drawn, all this other stuff. But other people would kind of dismiss it as like just a cartoon, just a Nickelodeon cartoon. And I think that's how I grew up, is I was like, oh, Nickelodeon, you know, the people who made Rugrats, like why are they trying to make an anime? And I never really gave it a chance up until last year. And I watched the entire thing front to back, and my God, is it just an amazingly written show.
Agreed. Totally. For damn sure. Yeah.
I think it is one of those shows that disguises itself as a kid's show. And not to say that like anime is just for adults, because that's ridiculous, but it from the get-go, you're like, oh, this is just like kind of a kid's show, but it has such maturity to it as the show goes on, and it's hard to keep your eyes off it. And then like when fighting and the shit goes down, like things really pop up and they just look just so beautiful.
Yeah, it was a bold move for Nickelodeon to make, I think, like, because they definitely needed to appeal to their younger audience, and they do with this show. Like, just with, I think the look of it is sort of more appealing to a wider audience. And then, yeah, to have a kids show like that also explores some really adult themes and kind of, you know, goes off the deep end in the third season is a really good thing as well for the people who have stuck with it.
Totally. Yeah, Whit, what is your experience with The Last Airbender?
I mean, of course I've heard of it, and everyone I know raves about it.
Yes.
And even from the few episodes that I've seen of it, it looked really, really good. What I'm wondering is, I mean, considering that anime comes from Japan and is a staple for Japanese people, I wonder if Japanese people have heard of Avatar, and if they have, like, what do they think of it? Do they think...
That's a great question. Yeah. I looked into this.
Oh, nice.
People love it. Spoilers, really? I guess. Yeah. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. No, people enjoy it. They say really, really good things about it. So that's kind of what I was curious about too. But like, I feel like they just play, like, everything in the show is so respectful to Asian culture, right down to the way that every nation has it's fire, water, earth, and air, and they kind of have to do their own type of martial arts to kind of perform these bending techniques. And what they did was they were really, each one is based on real martial arts, basically, like a style of martial arts, and they animate that to be respectful of it. And you see it too if you like pay attention to how each person moves from every nation. Each bending technique is very specific on how they move, and you're like, wow, like the water one's very flowy and the earth one's really tough, and they like kind of like more rigid when they do their martial arts. It's really, really cool.
Cool.
I gotta rewatch.
Yeah.
You gotta go and just watch the guys, do the flowy movements and stuff.
Right? You gotta. It's such a great story. I don't want to spoil it though. It's one that they ruined with the live action one, and they're gonna try to do that again apparently. So we'll see how that goes. Axe, what do you have?
Yes. Okay. So for my third nomination is maybe kind of a dark horse. I don't know. Maybe you've seen it, but let me set the stage. So, whenever someone dies, they're sent to a bar in limbo. It's run. The bar is one of many, and they're all run by bartenders who decide their fate essentially in any way they see fit. So, in the particular bar where the show is set, the bartender, as soon as two people die at the same time and arrive in his bar, are put to games. They're called death games, but they're really like they can be gambling, billiards, darts, an arcade game at one point. And the results of the game and the way the game goes down will reveal secrets about these two people's character and will help the bartender decide which one of them will be reincarnated and which one will be banished to the void. I'm talking about Death Parade. It's an amazing 12-episode little gem that I watched a few years ago at my sister's recommendation, and I absolutely think a beginner would love it.
Kalvin, you just gave a soft ooh.
No, it was like an awe ooh, because I didn't think very many people knew about that anime. So
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
your sister seems like a very knowledgeable person.
Yeah, how come she's not on this podcast? Can we get her next time?
Nah, she's just as into anime as I am. Yeah, it's one of my absolute favorites. Yeah, only 12 episodes long. Plus, I think it's based on like an OVA, so like a one-off episode. The one-off is the one that had billiards. The first episode has darts, and it will absolutely hook you. On top of that, the opening and ending songs are absolute bops, and that's very important to me.
In an anime, you're right. We haven't talked about that yet.
We haven't talked about it at all, but I just needed to bring it up because I love both of the songs on the front and back of this show. But yeah, on top of all that, it's a simple, intriguing concept. It shows a little of how weird anime can get if a beginner is looking into it. Like it's not as straightforward a story, but it's still pretty easy to follow, which I really liked.
Great. Mm-hmm. Nice. I've seen a couple episodes before, and I really liked it. I just never got to finish it. So this is intriguing to me that you're saying it's worth a watch.
Oh,
so
for sure. And it's quick.
12
episodes, man. We're talking like 4 hours.
Whit, I have a question.
Yes.
If you were to be banished to a bar and play a game of death, what would you like to play to decide your fate? Billiards or swim across a deadly shark pool?
Jesus Christ.
Those two sound like very different games. And one of them sounds like it isn't even a game offered.
No, it's not a game.
By the bartenders.
Okay. Just curious. That's all. Well, with that, actually, Ax, you bring up a good point before with the whole like intro music to anime. Like that is something I'm a sucker for. Like a good intro to an anime, like will instantly get you hooked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Onto it. And,
it's good.
And I usually skip that shit when I'm watching like American television, but like with a good like anime opening, I'm just all for it. It's just so catchy.
It's what got me. I think ever since I started watching anime, I've also been into like Japanese rock and pop and all of that. Just looking,
Nice.
just looking for the next good track to add to my Spotify playlist.
That's
There's
awesome.
some really good stuff out there. Like I've ranked the My Hero openings, for example.
Oh my god, that will be a separate podcast. I think.
Oh yeah,
here.
totally.
Whit, what do you have?
So my nomination is a little more mainstream, I think. So this is another show that's on the shorter end. It's shorter than Full Metal Alchemist. I think it's around 50 episodes. And the premise for the show is there's a high school student and he's very troubled by the state of the world. And one day he picks up a notebook. And this notebook has special powers, and he uses this notebook as a tool to deliver the justice that he sees fit in the world. I'm talking about another classic, Death Note.
Yes, that was a good description. Damn.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're way better at describing things. She's a writer, that's why.
I don't know. I think I did poor job with Bleach. But anyways,
Well, did you hear me trying to explain Avatar, and everyone immediately thought I was talking about Captain America?
valid.
Yeah. What about the rest of the gang here? I assume everyone's watched Death Note here, eh?
Absolutely.
And the movies.
Yeah.
Even the bad one.
Unfortunately.
Wait, there's multiple movies of Death Note?
Yes, there are.
Yeah. There's the two Japanese ones, then there's the Netflix one.
Oh
which
God,
was just-
we don't talk
just-
about the Netflix one.
Yeah, that was not good. But yeah, no, the Japanese movies I thought were decent, but the show itself is it's fantastic. I mean,
Oh, it's so good.
It's like, it's got the intrigue, it's got really cool setups and thrilling payoffs. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and it's also a lot of the shows that we have here are shonen based, I would say. A lot of them are kind of lighthearted, maybe not Death Parade, but Death Note is quite dark the entire way through. Right? It's definitely a mental type of anime, but there's also like dark tones. I wouldn't say there's a lot of like happiness in the show, but it is definitely intriguing the entire way through.
It leans into the crime drama genre. Like it's
Yes.
definitely not trying to
For
be
sure.
lighthearted or anything. It's this kid wants to dispense justice. He's got a god complex, and someone needs to deal with it. Let's freaking go. Let's dive in. Is I think what they were thinking when they put this show together, and it really works. I like it.
Yeah. I always thought the coolest thing about Death Note, and it's not a spoilers, but like one of the early action scenes of him like writing down in the notebook, they make writing in a notebook look cool.
It was very well animated.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's crazy. He's just writing, and they're putting this epic music to it. I'm like, oh my God, look at him go. It's really fun. Calvin, you have the honor to give the very last nomination.
Dang.
What is it?
Oh, okay.
No pressure.
Now I gotta pick one of the good ones.
Yep.
Wait, were you picking bad ones?
I mean, like, okay, there's like the best one of the best ones, I guess. My next nomination is it's a little shocking. It's a little shocking for like someone who like expects anime to be very kiddie, right? And then the opening just rocks it as soon as it starts, and then everything is all nice. It's all set in like another dimension where everyone's kind of in the medieval times, and then suddenly a giant hand reaches up above the wall.
Oh, shit.
And then it's just invaded, and you hear these legends, and then there's an attack from a titan.
Perfect.
My
Amazing.
nomination is Attack on Titan.
Oh, baby.
Oh, dear
Holy
God.
shit. That's I was scared that this show would not make the list.
Yeah, I'm
very,
surprised it
very
took
happy.
so long.
Really?
See,
Yeah.
the thing is, I think a lot of people were, they might not have wanted to nominate it first because it's actually a little bit complicated, like the whole plot. But I think for a lot of people, when they're like, they come into anime and they're like, oh, this is for kids, like whatever, it doesn't matter. And then they see someone get eaten by a titan, and then they're just like, oh my God, it kind of shocks them into being like, I want to watch more about this, like kind of in the same way Death Note is like, oh, let me just mass murder like all these people. It's
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I can definitely see that for sure. And I think like Attack on Titan was like, and still is like one of the most popular animes to this day in the current age of anime. And I think one of the biggest things that like helped it was it came up in a similar time as Game of Thrones, and a lot of people compared this show to Game of Thrones, where it's kind of
Really?
like, don't stay attached to these characters. Things are gonna go down. And yes, the animation studio who animates Attack on Titan is just freaking phenomenal.
Yes, agreed. It looks
Totally.
really good. I originally wasn't a fan of the big black bold lines they use, but it kind of grew on me as I was watching.
And in the way they like move around, it's like anime Spider-Man, like they have like this 3D maneuver gear, but they're just kind of zipping around the city, and it just looks freaking cool.
Or like true.
Wait, I need to hear, because you didn't say anything about Attack on Titan. Did you watch this show?
I watched the first 2 episodes. So I will
Nice.
say that even as someone who hasn't finished it or watched more, it's very compelling. And I think that's a good way to draw someone in who's a beginner to anime. Because like Calvin said, I think a lot of people who don't watch anime, they have these preconceived notions about it in their head. And Attack on Titan does a good job of getting rid of those notions.
True.
And the first few episodes, I think what helps is they're very like edge of your seat. Like you're like, oh, I have to find out what happens next, and that pulls people in and gets
Yeah.
them to keep watching.
Yeah, it pulls you in right away.
Yeah, definitely. Well, how about we just sit on this list right now, just get our anime brain jumbled together, and when we're back, we're gonna rank top 5 anime shows for beginners. We'll be back. Oh
my God.
I can't do it. I just
Yes, you can.
I can't do it.
you can't.
Axe, friends, I don't have enough power.
Tuong-san, you can do this.
Kid, I just need more power. If only there was something I could buy to boost up my power level.
There might be something that can help. Remember that website that you saw at one time?
Yes, to Amazon.
Oh, wait, Amazon? You mean the Pod Cavern affiliate link that links to Amazon, and if they buy anything off that link, it costs them no extra money?
Yes!
And gives some money to the Pod Cavern?
And it increases your power level.
Holy shit, guys, I need you. Give me your phones right away. Boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. Okay, all right. Okay, carry the one. Oh, you're gonna buy that? Really? Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. Okay, free shipping. Okay, here we go. I'm buying it.
Everyone send
I'm
your
buying.
energy.
Send me your Amazon energy. And send me. Okay. Boop. And as they press the place order button, a giant beam of energy strikes Tuong, Axe, Kalvin, and Whit, and combines them into one person, now a Megazord, which is not an anime thing, but here we are. Take this, Jeff Bezos, the power of friendship. Podcavern.com.
Top five.
Hey everyone, we are back, ready, amped up, power levels just bulging. Our biceps are also bulging. We have an aura around us. We are ready to rank a top 5 anime shows for beginners list. And yeah, this is an insane list.
I'd watch
I have to
this.
say, sometimes people just throw in a whatever nomination, but I feel like what we have here today is just bangers. So here we go. We have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Cowboy Bebop, Naruto. I shouldn't say it like that. Inuyasha. We have Dragon Ball Z, My Hero Academia. Academia?
Academia.
Academia.
Bleach. I call it Kuroko's Basketball, but it's also called Kuroko no Basket.
Yeah, Kuroko no Basket.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Avatar, The Last Airbender, Death Parade, Death Note. We got on a really somber note in the last round, it looks like. And Attack on Titan. Holy shit, everyone. Our job is to make a top 5 list out of the nominations said. And what we're going to do is star nominations for further consideration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it off to Whit. And you're going to star a nomination that we should probably talk about more. You don't have to get into details, and just not details yet anyways, and just star something that isn't your own nomination.
I would like to star Fullmetal Alchemist.
All right, Full Metal Alchemist is starred. Calvin.
I'm going to have to star Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop is starred. Okay. All right, Axe.
I am going to go with Death Note.
Whoa.
Nice.
Okay. I'm going to go with My Hero Academia.
Ooh.
Okay, so we have 4 starred right now. And just to recap, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Cowboy Bebop, My Hero... Did I say that already? My Hero Academia, and Death Note. All right, so now that we've starred 4, what else do we now it's just kind of an open floor of discussion. What do you think deserves to be talked about more, or what do you think should just be cut to make our lives easier now?
True. Dang. I mean, I'd probably, to start, I guess, I'd probably pick between the 2 really, really long shonen anime that are on the list. So Naruto and Bleach.
Right.
Otherwise, I need to give it some thought. Like, I think Death Parade is the one that I really, 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 really want to be on the list, but then everything else is also so good. So
Right.
it's difficult.
Calvin, give me your thoughts on what you think should, we can start another one. That's no problem. Or if you're like, you know what? This show sucks. You want to. And, I'll have to say, Calvin and Whit, you're a very polite guests. But here on the second half of the show, we like to go, full Super Saiyan.
The weights
so please.
are off. Let's go.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I like that Naruto reference right there.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to say Avatar because again, Avatar, great show, not really the same sort of show as the rest of things on the list. So I'm gonna say, I think we should lose that show.
Ooh, okay. I am happy to have the conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to star it so we can talk about it more.
Okay.
Because I'm not ready to cut it yet, but I'm definitely hearing what you're saying about it.
Gotcha.
And I can definitely be swayed to possibly lose it under those pretenses of what we think an anime is, I guess.
He's clearly very biased about this.
Yeah. Whit, how about yourself here?
Ooh. Well, to respond to Axe about, I see your point about how Naruto and Bleach are similar.
Yes.
But I would like to point out that I think everything on this list is a shonen anime, actually. There are no shoujo anime on this list. So...
That's fair. If we're looking
Yeah.
Oh, we got Nickelodeon here, so there you go.
And I don't know, I feel like Naruto and Bleach are... I mean, they're part of the big 3, and One Piece is the other third, but like Axe already mentioned, it's like the worst of the trifecta. So...
He mentioned that in chat off air, by the way, I should say.
I'm not a big fan, but yeah, go on.
Whit, can I ask you a question?
What is your question?
And for the people at home who don't know what a shonen anime is, or what was the other one that you said?
Shoujo.
Shoujo. Can you describe the differences for people?
Yes, certainly. So, shonen and shoujo anime/manga are 2 different categories. So, shonen tends to refer to action-based anime and manga, as well as marketed more towards boys. Shoujo anime and manga is more marketed towards girls and tends to focus more on like romance series, slice of life,
relationships, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are the differences.
Cool. Whew. Yeah, I think if I had to pick, if we're gonna, I would lump Naruto, Bleach, and Inuyasha together. Honestly, because they feel like in the similar camp. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think they were all like, because let's be real, guys, they don't make anime the same way they used to. Anime nowadays tends to be done by seasons, I guess, and each season is like 20 episodes, and then after that it's like, oh, if it was great, they'll get another season, but otherwise that's it. Whereas with Naruto and Bleach and Inuyasha and One Piece and other similar anime from that time, they were these just massive series, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like
I think they do split them up into seasons on like Netflix and stuff like that. But like the breaks that you see, you're like, really? That's the break in the show.
Yeah.
That's the new season. It's confusing. So
exactly.
So are we defining like the different sagas of anime by whether or not they have filler or not? Because it's starting to sound kind of like, oh, you have filler? All right, you're moving over here.
Sort of, kind of, right? Because I guess the structure isn't done the same way, and yeah, you won't have anime that are hugely long like they used to be, or at least not as much. So I guess so.
Right. And I think at this point we have to really just keep going back to like our ground rules, or rather just like the topic of today's show of like, some shows might be better than others, but other shows might be better for beginners,
Yes, we
right?
need to stick to
And
that.
that's kind of what we should be aiming for. Is like if we were to give this top 5 list to someone who's never watched anime before, we feel pretty confident that this is a good representation of like, hey, this is where you can start,
Okay.
right?
True, true, true.
Yeah,
And I feel
yeah.
like with Naruto and Bleach, they're just so iconic. Like, even if they are very, very long, people don't have to watch all of it, you know? Like, in fact, I would even recommend for Bleach, watch the first 2 seasons and end it there. 'Cause let's be real, Bleach peaked at Soul Society arc,
Huh.
in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but
I
1000% for sure
yeah,
it does.
right? But I feel like that's the perfect length for a beginner to watch an anime.
Yeah, that's the thing is with Bleach, it seems like there is, and I completely agree with you. Bleach definitely peaks at the second season, if you will. But is it good enough that it will kind of override some of these other shows that we have on this list where we can pretty much recommend the entire thing front to back? That's where I'm like, well, I can see why Bleach is here, but I don't know why it needs to go further, I guess.
Yeah, I feel kind of the same. Like, 1, I'd put Naruto over Bleach, but 2,
Me too.
there's a okay,
Me
nice.
three.
Oh, okay. Can we just do that then? I don't know if we need to argue. Can we just do
But
that?
like 2, there's some other anime that are like fully complete smaller things that I would recommend to someone way faster. Like Bebop,
Yeah.
which we've started.
How many episodes
right.
is Bebop?
26.
It's a very manageable amount.
Absolutely.
You know, like,
Yeah.
okay, so half of the people that I've spoken to say they don't want to start One Piece because they're just like, oh, it's so daunting, you know? Like, I feel like if I start, I want to finish, and it's got like a bajillion episodes. So I'm like, you know, I'm just going to stay away from One Piece. Amongst, you know, multiple different reasons.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's just one of the reasons.
Yep, I feel that for damn sure.
Yeah.
And it's similar. It's similar with stuff like Death Parade, which is so short, and I've actually like started gravitating towards shorter anime. Just, I mean, I've had less time, but now during COVID, that's kind of gone out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel weird about like anime because it has those cliffhanger endings all the time. I appreciate when an anime is like a decent length so I can like really binge that thing. But yeah, like something like One Piece where it's like what 1,000 episodes, something like really high. Like no, thank you. It's just unnecessary. Okay, how about we list some of the shows that have not been starred yet and maybe see if we want to have further discussion on it. So how about I start with Dragon Ball Z, star or no star?
I think it's a star. It's iconic. Literally every anime on this list in some way or form like pulls from it, you know, and it's like it's easy. It's easy to get into.
It's that's fair. It's like the starting point.
It's candy.
In a lot
it's
of
just
ways.
like it's pure candy. It's so you just watch it and you just feel good, I think. Let's see. Death Parade, is that a star, Axe, or what do you think here? It's gonna be a hard sell, I think.
Yeah, I
but
know, but
Calvin watched it, right?
Yeah.
it is so worth watching, and it doesn't take that long to watch either. And it keeps you interested the entire time, which is what I really love about it.
Okay.
It's good. I think because it's so short, it's good for a beginner, and because it's so weird and intriguing and has an interesting concept, it's good for a beginner. And the concept is pretty easy to follow, even though like stuff gets a little more complex later on, because the main character is not the only bartender around, and there's other people he answers to, and all of that. But that would happen in any anime.
Right. I just don't know. Like you tell me. You think it's top 5 material, and we'll start or not?
I mean, I'm looking at the rest of this list.
It's a good
Ouch.
list.
Y'all are so good. God damn.
They're tough
so good.
competitors, you know.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I will concede, even though it hurts me.
Okay, because like we have more things starred than we have things cut, so I'm really just trying to go from there. Naruto is starred. Bleach, I think we agreed to cut. Death Note we starred. Inuyasha, thoughts?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been a long time since I've watched it, but
It's like
Yeah.
I think it's depending on the person, you know, because I think of you want to have your top 5 anime be kind of like very, like, like wide based. So like, anyone can jump in. And I think Inuyasha's the only one that quasi could be part shoujo, I guess. It's like the one that's most heavy on the romance.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially in the movies.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that makes that makes a lot of sense. But then we'd have to cut something real good.
I think with Inuyasha, although I really like it, it's just there's a lot of filler in Inuyasha, and there's a lot of episodes too. I think there's like 200 or something like that. It seems like a daunting task, and I don't even know. I don't even think like episode length or the amount of episodes in a show is the entire deterrent. I just don't know if the entire journey from episode 1 to, let's just say, 200, even though I don't know if that's the real number, is all that great.
Okay.
Like the romance between Inuyasha and the other character, Kagome, they spin their wheels on that quite a lot. It's kind of like the same romance beats.
It's very anime in that sense.
Yeah.
It takes forever for anything to happen between them.
Rebuttal, Calvin? What do you think?
I think it's like it satisfies both the shonen and it satisfies the shoujo. So I think it's a very flexible piece. But I do agree with you that like they're like, oh, you touched my hand. Oh no, she cares about me. What? Kagome? Inuyasha? And you're like, oh my
I'm
god,
a demon.
you guys are like Ross and Rachel just in anime format.
Oh no, you unsold me on it now.
For real. Oh, it's dead.
Oh, what have I done?
Wait, as an outsider perspective, what do you think of that argument for and against Inuyasha? Do you think it should be talked about more to be on this list, or are you okay with it leaving?
Ooh, I don't know. You guys both brought up some really good points. And as someone who hasn't watched Inuyasha before, I feel like Inuyasha is big enough to be recognized by people that don't usually watch anime. But at the
I don't even know if that's true, though.
Really?
Like, I don't know. Like, maybe back in the day, but I don't know if I say the word Inuyasha to, like, a colleague at work who might have watched a little bit anime. They might be like, what's that one again? Is that the guy with the ears and he looks like a dog and big sword? Like, I don't know. I feel like,
I mean, if he was able to say that, he pretty much knows what it's
You're
about.
right. I'm making a terrible argument. Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know. I just don't know if people recognize Inuyasha the way they did 10 years ago.
That's valid.
I will agree with that.
Right,
Looking
that's a
at
good
the
point.
rest of this list, I think we can think of 5 more anime that could potentially like beat it out.
Yeah, like
Okay.
all of these others that we've starred have stood the test of time better than Inuyasha.
Agreed.
Right. Okay. All right. We'll have 2 more on Calvin's list that I want to talk about here, and that's Kuroko's Basketball and Attack on Titan.
Yes.
One is a sports anime, which is very intriguing. I kind of love that. And one is just a bop the entire way. So,
Sports.
what do you think here?
That's the thing. Like, yeah, sports anime I think appeals to a really specific watcher of anime, which is a good thing. Like, I think you get like the feelings of hype are different from the ones you'd get in something like Dragon Ball. And I don't think that's something that anything other than a sports anime can do. And there are now so many, and a lot of them are so amazing that, like, I definitely feel comfortable, like, recommending one to a beginner. And yeah, Kuroko no Basket could fit that bill.
May I say something?
Please, yes, yes.
Please, fight us.
Yeah, no, I think what Calvin says is very valid. And I think, like Tung said, it's cool that Kuroko no Basket is on the list as the only sports anime. But I don't know. I just feel like I personally never had an interest in it. And if I had to watch a sports anime, I would watch something else like Free or Haikyuu.
I have heard really good things about Haikyuu. That's fair.
Haikyuu is a good series.
Okay, Calvin, as someone who's watched that too, you've watched a lot of anime.
I made sure to buckle down for this podcast.
Yeah, is it true you haven't slept in weeks? You've just been watching anime nonstop?
My hair is just everywhere, I'm so glad this is not on video too.
And you're still not done One Piece. And you've been watching anime for months straight. All right, Calvin, like, do you think Kuroko's Basketball is like the epitome of sports anime.
See, the thing is, so I'm looking at this from like a probability. Like, there's a larger population of people that watch basketball than people who watch volleyball. So I'm like, okay, so what's more likely to have an appeal to someone when, like, are they more likely to be a basketball fan or a volleyball fan? So I'm like, okay, I'm putting, like, I'm putting both Haikyuu and Kuroko no Basket on the same level, in that, they have the same sort of like emotional attachment. Like, I love them the same, but then like basketball is just so much more popular. So like, I feel like for someone to jump right into it, it's much easier.
Right. And there's another really popular basketball anime. I mean, there's a million of them, but there's like one that I forget what it's called. Have you seen any other basketball anime?
Slam Dunk?
It's Slam Dunk. That's the one.
Yeah. What would you say between the two?
I would say more Kuroko, because Slam Dunk, it's a little older. Nothing against that. We have a lot of like really old gems on our list as well. But then like, I think it kind of helps bridge people into anime, because Slam Dunk is like straight up just basketball. Like, it's good, but it's like, it's just basketball. And then Kuroko has that sort of like powers aspect to it.
Right.
And
I love that.
and it's great. And so when people get that, they get introduced to the powers, they accept that, like, oh yeah, in anime they bend the laws of reality, like Tuong said, and then that allows them to like move on to different anime and like be like, oh yeah, this guy has one for all. Cool, let's do that.
Amazing.
Oh man, that's a really good argument for that. Shit.
Shoot, I'm
All right,
starting.
I'm gonna start anyways. We can talk more about it, and I'm gonna start Attack on Titan because I knew for sure that's something we need to talk about. So what we have is basically the entire list, which is Full Metal Alchemist, Dragon Ball Z, Avatar, Cowboy Bebop, My Hero Academia, Naruto, Death Note, Kuroko's Basketball, and Attack on Titan. We have 9 starred, which is too much. We need to cut 4 of them.
So
Alex, go ahead.
I can definitely agree with Calvin in terms of cutting Avatar from this list specifically.
Yeah, I think, and I don't want to fight it too much. I think Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the greatest shows in general.
Yeah.
It's just such a top tier show front to back, like I've talked about before. And I think the only reason why I think it can go is because I kind of snuck it in there as an anime when people are like, well, is it? I think it is. But it's still, I mean, like the rest of you guys are still not convinced entirely, which is a fair gut reaction. And that's the only reason why I'd let this go, because otherwise I think it's probably the most accessible anime that we have here.
Tuong, I actually agree with you, because, I mean, we've said it several times on the podcast already that people don't watch anime probably because they have these ideas of what anime is like. And like you said, Avatar is the most accessible in terms of, I mean, first of all, it's not really an anime, right? Or it is, but at its core, it is a series that's illustrated and animated by a Western studio.
Right.
And while that maybe takes away from its like authenticity or legitimacy as an anime, it does make it more approachable to Western people that haven't had an experience with anime before. So I see what you're saying, but at the same time, just like looking at all the other titles on this list, I would be more willing to let Avatar go.
I totally. And I think I would fight harder if it wasn't such a like a, the conversation of like, well, is it an anime? Is it not an anime? And I think that kind of takes away from like the specialness of the show, because if people recognize it as an anime right away, I think it's like an easy contender for like top 5 for sure. But I can see it. I can concede on this. So goodbye, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It do be like that sometimes.
It does. And they have a beach episode, so how dare you? Okay, but so maybe that's how we have to approach the rest of it. Does it have a beach episode? Is there a tournament arc? No. Okay. Is there any other ones on this list? Actually, let's approach it like this. What are locks? So how locks work on the show is all of us I will say every single show that we have starred, and you will say if it's a lock or not, and that means it will make the top 5 list most likely. It's kind of a loose rule here, but it has to be unanimous, which is the big thing.
Fun rule.
All right, so I'm gonna say it from here: Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, lock or no lock?
I think that's a lock.
I think it's got to be a lock.
Yeah.
Lock.
Yeah.
Wait,
Brotherhood was so good, but
you just have to say lock or no lock. If it's a no lock, we can just leave it on the side for now. It doesn't mean it won't make the list.
That's-
We'll just discuss it after, if that's the case.
okay, lock.
I
almost,
I held my breath.
Jesus, me too. I almost
Sorry, guys.
unfriended you. Dragon Ball Z, lock or no lock?
mean, it's got to be. It's almost too
It's
much of a
It's
lock
the
to even be on the
granddaddy
list.
of all anime.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
almost too much of a lock to be on the list. You know?
Goku's my daddy. Wit, is it a lock for you, Wit?
I don't know.
Ooh,
She's like the
okay. That
holdout.
sounds that's a no
Always.
lock right now. Cowboy Bebop, lock or no lock?
This has to be a lock. Absolutely.
I'd lock it, but
I'm gonna say
Wit,
no
what do you
lock.
think? Calvin, you're a lock on that
I'm
too.
not a lock, actually.
You're not a lock. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
so
not a
Wit,
lock.
you didn't have to break the bad news there. My Hero Academia, lock or no lock? That's a lock in my head.
Yeah. Like, I mean, but the other,
It is so, it's so good.
like, of both my I'd put Bebop over My Hero.
Oof.
Yeah.
Would you lock My Hero though in a vacuum, like right now? Would you lock it?
God. Yeah.
Are you powering up over there? What's happening?
I am, and yes, I would. Fuck. Absolutely.
Okay, you're locking. Calvin, lock. Wit.
Wow, I feel like such a villain if I have to say no lock again.
You follow your heart, please, please. We need this drama.
Yeah. This is
No
very
lock.
good.
Oh,
No lock.
I need to be convinced more, guys. I have
That's
nothing
okay.
against
That's okay.
it.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. You just hate nice things. Okay, so no. Naruto, lock or no lock?
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm a lock too.
I'm a lock too. Tongue.
Yeah, I'm a lock. No. I was thinking about it. No. That's a lock. That's a lock. All right. So we have 2 locks on the list. Death Note, lock or no lock?
Death Note I'd put up there. Honestly, for the variety.
Right.
For how freaking different it is, and for how
Right.
how different the subject matter is, but also how accessible
Yeah.
it is as an anime.
If we want a varied list, then it definitely fits that bill. I don't know if it's a lock in my head, so I'm gonna say no lock, and then save you guys the rest
Wow,
of.
Tongue.
Yeah. For now. Yeah, no judgment. I just want the best for the pod cavern. Kuroko no Basque, lock or no lock?
I mean, we've only got 2 so far, and I kind of have picked the rest, but no. I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm talking.
No lock.
I'm thinking out loud right now.
No
Okay, well,
lock.
then we
There
don't
you
need to
go.
discuss
There it
this.
is.
Damn.
And Attack on Titan, lock or no lock? That for me is a lock.
Lock for me too.
Yeah, I'd put that in there.
Yeah, lock.
Okay.
All right. Okay. This is what we have. We have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood as a lock, Attack on Titan as a lock, Naruto as a lock. That's 3 locks. Technically, we only need 2 more on this list. Although the ones that are locked can easily leave, I guess, but we just want to have like a good sense of where we're at. Okay, so the ones that were not locked were Dragon Ball Z, Cowboy Bebop, My Hero, and Kuroko's Basketball. Kuroko no Basque. And Death Note, sorry. So that's the other 5. What do we think here? I think we should have the conversation of Dragon Ball Z.
Like it's like I mentioned, I'm of 2 minds, right? Like it's so huge and iconic, and as Calvin said, so many shows have pulled from it. But then like we have to assume that our mystery person asking us which anime to watch hasn't watched Dragon Ball Z, which sounds absurd.
But it's possible. I mean, I could say Laura's never seen Dragon Ball Z.
Hell, Laura.
I've never
I know,
seen
I
Dragon
know.
Ball Z.
What?
There you go. See?
How are you on this podcast?
Shit.
I'm sorry, I didn't know watching Dragon Ball Z was a requirement to be a pseudo anime expert.
Prerequisite.
Yeah, I should have wrote that in the podcast forums when you guys signed it to be on this podcast. Did you watch Dragon Ball Z? Yes or no?
Prerequisite.
I think Dragon Ball Z is Dragon Ball in general is one of the biggest animes of all time. And I think there's a reason to it, right? Like Dragon Ball Super was very popular, still is, and it's still going. Like the original creator is still creating manga and pushing that story along and finding new hair colors to give Goku. But it's thrilling. It still is. And Dragon Ball Z is large part of why I fell in love with anime. It is still very watchable. I would say very accessible as well, even though it might not seem like it from the outset of, people who are flying and throwing, beams at each other and monsters and all this stuff. But it's not too complicated where people would get confused of what the plot is too, right?
Yeah, I can agree with that. But
Okay, what even is the plot of Dragon Ball Z?
Kalvin, do you want to take this one?
So a guy is constantly fighting other people, and then by fighting other people know of him, and so more people want to fight him, and he just fights a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he's
Goku fighting around the world.
He's a really nice dude. He's just training because he wants to be stronger, and then these villains show up and want to destroy his planet, and he's not about that. And he's really strong, so he does something about it.
It's the story of Superman, and then they put their own anime logic on top of it.
Pretty much.
Because he comes from a different planet that's being destroyed, and he comes to the planet to... Originally, they want him to, destroy his own planet Earth, but he kind of, gets amnesia. And then, everything else is what Kalvin said. He just wants to fight to be stronger, and he's a complete goofball, but he believes in the right values, I think, of wanting to protect his friends and family and kindness and all that stuff.
So my counterpoint to Dragon Ball Z, even though, as you guys were discussing it, I started thinking about it. So now I think I'm actually on the opposite side. I don't think that should be in the top 5.
Yes.
Talk to him.
Now, this is what I think. Hear me out.
Say it.
Everything that is on here is in some way or form affected by the creation of Dragon Ball Z. Like everything that, all the little tropes, it was all started by Dragon Ball Z. But Dragon Ball Z is a great anime to... it's a very valuable anime for its historical value and how it helped develop all of these anime. But all these anime already carry with it trace bits of Dragon Ball Z. Mm-hmm. So we value it as it was the starting one, but doesn't mean that it has all the abilities that of educating the new anime watcher and hooking them in as maybe the other ones. We just kind of I think we're all a little biased towards it because it's just the granddaddy of anime.
Yeah.
I
get
can
what you're
definitely
saying.
see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My Hero and Attack on Titan both have the same sensation of power creep. They're fighting an enemy now, and that enemy is going to look like peanuts compared to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And they just have to make sure shit looks hype as it's going on and craft a good story around it.
But screaming and powering up and thunder fucking bolts going around you.
The people in Attack on Titan aren't screaming enough, and Deku alone isn't screaming enough.
We also forget that Dragon Ball Z is also funny. It's also a lighthearted show too. It's not just fight. It is, they do some good lighthearted stuff in there too, which change it up. It's not just darkness.
So what you're saying is that My Hero should be on the list because it's also funny.
My Hero is a fantastic show. I wanted to lock it.
Right. If we're going the full Dragon Ball Z as a relic of a time gone by route, then I'd put My Hero on top of it.
Yeah, because My Hero took all of the greatness of Dragon Ball Z and then added more stuff. So we're net benefit here for positives.
If you want to swap Dragon Ball Z, which is sacrilege, for my Hero, I would be open to that conversation, especially if Wit has no interest in watching Dragon Ball Z.
I have no interest in watching Dragon Ball Z, but I would be open to watching My Hero.
Bam! So is it a lock?
I think it's a lock.
Is it a lock?
It's a lock.
Is it on the list?
Don't pressure her. I think this is more of a conversation to get Dragon Ball Z out and keep talking about My Hero. Is that right,
Yeah,
Whit?
that's
Okay.
it.
Okay, that's crazy, but I will rescind Dragon Ball Z, even though it has the dopest side character. Even though he's just a main character now, Vegeta is the best.
Absolutely.
Vegeta's the best. Change my mind, you can't,
Nope.
because he's just the stereotypes that Goku and Vegeta have has definitely impacted anime forever.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Literally.
Has. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it also impacted games, because what I've heard is, side note, I really, really like Sonic. And I've
Nice.
heard several people say that Sonic and Shadow got their inspiration from Goku and Vegeta.
I see it.
I love it.
I can see that.
I love it.
For damn sure.
Freaking love it. And well, it's super apparent because literally they go supersonic, which is Super Saiyan. So
He's a gold hedgehog, damn it.
and they fly. It's like, wow, you guys really didn't try. Okay, so Dragon Ball Z's off, Avatar: The Last Airbender's off. I see my list is being attacked on my end here, but that's okay. Cowboy Bebop, My Hero, Death Note, Kuroko no Basuke. Those are the rest that need to be discussed.
Like, Bebop is so good, y'all. Everyone needs to watch it.
I also agree, Axe. I would lock it personally.
Okay, Ax, what is Cowboy Bebop about? Aside from, space adventures.
Space weed.
That's kind of what it is. Like, it's a space western about this dude named Spike Spiegel and his bounty hunter partner, Jet Black. And they both run this ship named the Bebop, and they are bounty hunters. They help the intergalactic police to catch bad guys in order to make money. And then they meet some different
Yeah.
crew members along the way. They get into all sorts of different shenanigans, and it's all extremely well animated. And
It
it's
balances
really nice.
goofy and serious
Yeah.
really well, I think. And a lot of people compare it to Firefly
Yes.
and Guardians of the Galaxy
Yes.
merged together. And those two are iconic in their
And
own
the
right,
music
so.
is iconic as well. The music is the opening is the greatest ever. The ending is pretty fucking dope by itself. It's very like jazzy, which is absolutely up my alley. And for all those reasons, it should be on the list.
And you said it's only 26 episodes, right?
Yes, plus a couple movies, I think.
Calvin, as someone who has watched everything on this list, it sounds like, do you think Cowboy Bebop belongs on the top 5 from what we have left?
So
For a beginner.
that's the
For a
key.
beginner.
That's the one catch-all point that I think. Like, I love Cowboy Bebop. I think that it is such a great variety piece for when it comes to anime, because we don't really get too many good Western anime. Like, I mean, like, you get like Trigun, but I mean, like, other than that, like, Cowboy Bebop is the only one I really think about. But like, it's like it'll come in and it's great, but you do have to kind of wade through a little bit of it at the very beginning. And I think that's what kind of stops me from being like, yes, this is 100% what I want to give a person who's like, oh, I don't know anything about anime. Boom.
I see that point.
But I still love it.
But
I
it's
just
so
want to
worth
let
it.
everyone
It's
know
so good.
I love Cowboy Bebop.
Shit. This is a hard one to navigate, guys. I feel like we're spinning our wheels here. Everything has its pros and cons. Death Note. Is that staying?
I would,
I would say
yeah.
yes.
Death
I
Note
would
will
like
stay.
it to.
Faux show.
Calvin, did you say you wanted to lock it too?
Oh, 100%.
Wit, you're good for
Yeah,
that?
but Tung, you were the one who said you didn't want to lock it.
I didn't.
What?
I think, I mean, I love Death Note. Death Note is so fucking good. There's just, like, I would take Cowboy Bebop over it, probably.
Yep.
And same with My
Really?
Hero. Yeah, but I do like the variety of Death Note and how it's not just like a fighty anime kind of thing, you know? It's not, it's a thinker, and it's one of the more mature anime that we have on this list. Yeah, I would say probably the most mature anime from the themes that they explore about death and betrayal and all this other stuff. So I'm okay with locking it, I think.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right, which means we only have one more
spot.
to lock.
And it should,
The ones that we have left is Cowboy Bebop, My Hero, Kuroko no Basuke. Am I missing one?
I think that's it.
We lock Attack on Titan.
Yep, we did. Are you trying to
I
unlock
don't know.
it?
I just don't remember.
Okay, good. I was
I'm
like,
glad that
wait,
it's
don't you undo the work we've done? Yeah, I don't know where to. So we have 3 very different animes.
Yeah.
One's a sports anime, one is superhero type anime, and one is a pretty legacy iconic anime that's very, very
It
popular.
holds up so well.
But it holds up.
Well, I'll say that out of all these three, I would be most willing to lock My Hero.
Okay. Interesting.
I can definitely see that
That's
too.
the thing. Yeah, putting My Hero on the list, I feel good about it. I'm in Tuong's Avatar boat in that I feel bad about not having Cowboy Bebop in the list.
Oh, please! I feel way worse that Dragon Ball Z is not on the list.
That's very true. I feel that.
Calvin, what do you think? Those three.
I like My Hero for the sheer reason that like it starts off and all of these anime, all of the protagonists start off like like they have you know that they're capable people, and then like My Hero starts with like the runt, and I think that makes it different. It's still a fighty anime,
Of course.
but it's like it's colorful, and I think the main character makes it.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
weird
it
for a
has
main
a-
character to make it in a shonen, right? Like in Dragon Ball
Exactly.
Z's case, Goku's cool, but Vegeta's better,
Yeah.
right? But then in this one, it's like, wow,
Nah, I'm a
Deku is
Yamcha
awesome.
man myself personally, so
Why? That's
No,
another
no.
that's a question for another podcast.
yeah. I think the other thing with My Hero, it has a killer ensemble.
Yes.
And the class is just so different, but they all play their part in as being like a character of
And
their
they
own.
all-
You know, like
they all get
every
screen time.
Yeah, they all
It's
get screen
so
time.
cool to see that. Like the entire freaking 20 some odd person class during like tournaments and fights and everything, they're separated into teams, and you get to see each and every one of them do something cool.
And even
Yeah.
the characters where you're like, I'm never gonna like that character. You're like, yo, I love that character now.
Like, yo, what the fuck? That's so cool.
I'm so confused. How did they do this to me?
Damn. Okay. So
Wait, I want to hear your final thoughts on here. So you got Cowboy Bebop, My Hero, and Kuroko no Basuke. You said My Hero. Do you have? How would you sum up the reason why you gravitate towards this one? As someone who's never watched any of these three, it sounds like.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a girl. Like, and what I mean by that is, 'cause that's what
Please elaborate.
but what I mean by that is like, well, personally, I have no interest in basketball, and I have no interest in
Unless it gives you free fries.
another topic for another day.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm not interested in watching basketball anime. I'm not interested in space adventures, but I'm more interested in, seeing these characters go to superhero school.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a school anime on top of
Yeah.
everything, and those are fun.
Yeah.
And I just feel like,
It-
I don't know, maybe it's because I'm shallow or it's just a preference thing, but I think that the animation or the art style for both Cowboy Bebop and Kuroko no Basket are a little dated.
Okay.
And I just feel like, as someone who has never watched anime before, like, yeah, it's a shallow reason, but I would gravitate more towards the anime that's like shinier.
Yeah, no, like a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
anime
very
fans
shiny.
feel that way too. I'd say, right? Like, there's going to be the nostalgia, but there's also like, damn, the animation looks freaking crisp on this new one, and that's important.
Yeah, and it does. It does. It's
so
really good. It's so good. Okay. It sounds like we have our five. Holy shit. This is quite a discussion. Okay, so we have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, My Hero Academia, Naruto, sorry. Death Note, and Attack on Titan. That's our five. Holy shit, but we have to rank them
Oh,
now.
dear God.
Oh,
What is our number 5 on this list?
Naruto.
Calvin, I'll let you choose.
I'm curious. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna have to say Naruto. Like, it just doesn't. I think it's just that the Naruto packs a good punch, but it's spread over so many episodes that it's not as effective.
It's
Compared
a
to
very
like,
large puddle.
There you go. There you go.
Done. Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, but it starts off amazing, and it's really good throughout. But there's definitely some like moments, I guess. But it's definitely one that people can easily. I mean, it's ninjas. Everyone loves ninjas,
Agreed.
right? So Yeah. Did anyone ever try to do the symbols in Naruto? Like
I'm
yeah?
doing them right now.
I'm literally about to spit a great fireball in my apartment.
Okay, great. Fantastic. And Whit, how about you? Did you master any of the what do they call them? The
Jutsus?
ninjutsu?
I mastered the
Jutsu?
Naruto run.
The Naruto run, okay.
Yeah, haven't you guys heard of that Facebook event where it was like Naruto run around
Yes.
around Central Park or something?
So it was funny.
I fucking love that. There's also a Dragon Ball Z one where the voice actor for Goku, Sean Gemmel, I think it is,
Yeah.
they got a bunch of people together to scream at once and power up at once, and they broke a world record or something like that.
Yes.
What kind of world
awesome.
record?
Yeah, some world
probably
record.
really
I
easy
don't
to
understand
break.
what it was.
Yeah.
No one's
Yeah,
done
yeah,
it before.
but I-
once.
It's great. He says, "Okay, 3, 2, 1." It's just amazing. Okay, so Naruto is number 5. I also like Naruto running. I used to do it all the time. In grade 9, just a little bit of a tangent
What are
here.
you talking about?
I-
You still Naruto run in the office sometimes.
Sometimes, but Sonic did it first. But I ran home from high school in my grade 9 year, and one of my best friend at the times, his like really attractive sister, saw me running home like that,
no.
and she told my sister in the same grade, and she's like, "Do you know your brother runs like this?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is super embarrassing. I lost all my chances."
Game over, dog.
Yeah. She's missing out, clearly.
Absolutely.
Number 4, what do we have? What do you think? Wit, what do you think number 4 should
What
be?
are the options again?
We have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. We have Death Note, My Hero, and Attack on Titan.
Oh, this is tough.
I got mine.
Yeah, what do you think, Axe?
I'd put Attack on Titan number 4.
Why do you put at 4?
Yeah, why would you put Attack on Titan 4th?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? I'm just kidding.
I'm so offended right now.
Damn, y'all. I think at this point it's like or at least I'm more into like the nitty gritty. It's purely because I prefer the other 3. That's like the main part of it is because I think the other 3 tell a more compelling story.
You know what's tough is like Attack on Titan and My Hero aren't done yet.
Yeah, that's fair.
They have very strong showings. I haven't read the manga for My Hero. A friend of mine who has says they aren't pumped the way it's going, which I don't think is a spoiler, but I still love the show. And I'm only basing this off the show and what people should watch off the show. But I don't know.
How many episodes does My Hero have?
4 seasons.
Oh, it's not done yet,
20 something episodes.
Yeah,
seasons,
it's at like 70-ish, I think now.
Is Attack
Yeah.
on Titan the same?
No, it's 3 season and it's coming out with its final season next year, something like that. And it's 20 something episodes, so it's shorter.
Oh wow, that's way shorter.
Yeah.
Dang. I mean, I could also put My Hero 4th and Attack on Titan 3rd.
I feel like I would put My Hero 4th.
I would do that.
I think
too.
I would. Oof. I was gonna say Death Note 4.
What?
Yeah, but apparently I'm wrong.
Of course
so-
you are. What the hell?
I like My Hero better, but Death Note's fucking awesome. So I don't know. Is everyone thinking My Hero 4?
I think so.
I think so,
I'm
yeah.
okay with it.
All right, I'm okay with it too.
Bam.
Sorry, All Might.
Ugh.
We tried. Number 3.
Number 3 is where I'd put Attack on Titan if My Hero is 4th, and then
Yeah, I agree.
2 and
Yeah,
2 and
fully
1 kind
agree.
of fall into place for me.
All right, sounds like we have a list. I'm not happy about it. No, kidding. It's fine. No. I feel like I'm bad mouthing Death Note. I fucking love Death Note. So what it sounds like is number 5, Naruto. Number 4, My Hero Academia. Number 3, Attack on Titan. Number 2, Death Note. And number 1, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I would totally be down with that.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the only one we literally didn't talk about. Just
Yes,
locked.
let's talk about it because we've done this mistake before where something makes
Really?
number 1 and we never talk about it.
If you'd like, but I was pointing out how we don't need to. It's so good and so accessible and all of that. I think is why it transcended all the arguments we just had. You know?
It's not just a good show for beginners. It's just a really good fucking show. Like it is so top tier. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
And
is
it's
why
got science.
Yes, and it's got science. Science.
But
and
does it have a
magic.
beach episode?
I'd have
It does
to
have
watch
a beach
No.
episode, actually.
It
Does
does?
it?
does.
I just rewatched it. I don't
See?
remember the beach episode.
11 out of 10 is what I'm saying.
Again, just rewatching the show, and I don't usually rewatch shows because there's so much content these days. But I was like, I need to rewatch this thing, and it's just a fucking magical show from front to
Yeah.
back, and it's just has such a compelling story, which
It's smart
has a like
too, yeah.
very smart, lots of lighthearted moments. But when they go serious, they go hard, and it's just good
And I
drama
think
at
the
that point.
story is unique too, right?
For sure. Absolutely. No, I don't think any other show kind of deals. Though, I mean, I guess I'm generalizing, and anime is a huge genre, but no other show kind of deals with magic the way that Full Metal does.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I like that it seems like this kind of property is something that they can milk forever, right? Two brothers trying to find their bodies using alchemy, and it sounds like if you were to cash in this story, then you can kind of do like a Dragon Ball Z Inuyasha thing where you just do like a monster of the week or something and just keep dragging it out. But instead, they really just go out in their own terms. They tell the story they want and they close the book,
Yeah.
and that's
I
it.
feel like that's part of its charm too, right? Like they knew when to end it. It wasn't like
That's
Yeah.
always a good thing, yeah.
yeah, exactly. They
Yeah.
didn't drag it out for too long. They didn't introduce any like unnecessary arcs.
Like Bleach.
Yes,
Sorry,
exactly.
what was that?
Exactly what I was thinking.
It's like, I lost my powers. Now I have my powers again. What?
Don't get me started on that. No, yeah, you bring up, yeah, that's a great point, Wade. I love a show that just does its thing and just bows out when it knows it's on top. And it does. And yeah, that's why it deserves to be number one, everyone.
Yeah.
So, hey, we freaking did it. We made a top 5 list, but we can't end the show without honorable mentions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, Wit, name the rest of the shows that are on your list that you didn't get to say and just rapid fire
Ooh,
them.
okay, first one, Soul Eater.
Nice.
Second
that's a good
one, Madoka Magica.
Madoka?
Yes,
is
Madoka.
Madoka Magic,
Frick,
yeah.
I forget the name, but you know what I'm talking about.
The little fairies that go to hell.
Wit's been trying to get me to watch it. We've agreed to Netflix party it. I didn't watch it.
Nice.
Yeah, and then Mirai Nikki, Toradora,
Oh, yeah.
Your Lie in April.
Your
and
Lie in
One
April was
Punch
really
Man.
nice.
Oh, my last one was One Punch Man.
Sick.
Oh, that's
One
right.
Punch!
How do we never get, like, I'm surprised that didn't make it on.
That was the one where I was like, is this show good for beginners? Because it's very meta.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
parody, right?
I guess so.
It's parody of a lot of tropes. Like the whole hero for fun thing is.
But I think it could have, because even if you don't consider the meta, it's still like funny in its own right.
Totally.
Look
But
at Saitama.
yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's the tweet. Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
for sure.
I also like the show, but I was just like, a lot of the jokes in my One Punch Man, it's like you had to have watched other anime to really like get it. I think, and that's the only thing that brings it down. Otherwise, it's a fantastic show. Yeah, Calvin, you want to give the rest of your
Oh,
list?
man. So I wanted to say Gintama, but Gintama does the same thing, where they'll do
Yeah.
parodies of other things, and then if you don't watch anime, you're like, I'm so confused.
It's great.
Initial D.
Hell yeah.
Code
Oh my
Geass.
God, yeah.
I'm actually really kind of annoyed that I forgot about this one actually. It was like lower on my list and it didn't scroll up. But Gundam Wing.
Yes.
Oh,
That's on my list too.
Lastly, Case Closed and Shokugeki.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
Wow.
Nice.
I never even heard of that one.
It's
All
the
right.
what is it? The food one?
Right. Yes.
Not Food Wars. Is it Food
Yeah,
Wars?
it's Food Wars. It's the one with a gratuitous fan service.
Oh, yeah.
Gratuitous.
Wait, I was telling you about this one. I don't know if that's a good show for beginners because I'm not ruining anything because this is the first episode, but it's kind of like they have really good looking food. Anime food, by the way. We haven't talked about it. Anime food
Anime
always
food
looks
is
so good.
amazing.
But yeah, you bite into a food, and if it tastes good, your main characters are going to come.
Yeah, they just straight up orgasm.
Like, it's crazy to me. I was like, what is happening? Everyone's orgasming everywhere, and their clothes are being ripped off just because they chewed on this like really tasty shrimp. It's crazy.
Fun.
But hey, if you're into it, all the power to you. Axe.
Yes. So I have the one that I would have mentioned is Monster. Really cool cat and mouse story about a doctor and a kid he saves who turns out to be a serial killer. Sword Art Online was huge
Yep.
for a while. Like it seemed like everybody was watching it at one point.
Ooh, I've heard questionable things about it.
Right? It's like controversial in that sense. But
It was very good the first
absolutely,
season.
the first
The
14
first season,
episodes are
loved it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
There's Samurai Champloo.
Ooh, that was
Oh.
a good one.
Hell yeah. Amazing
Oof.
soundtrack,
Love the
really
soundtrack
cool
to that.
animation. Gundam Wing was also on my list, but I also had Gundam 00 as a more accessible like start to the Gundam franchise specifically. Space Brothers is another one I liked a lot that I think would be good for a beginner. It's not really sci-fi, it's more like it's like science. It's two brothers, one of who like make a vow to each other after they see a UFO to become astronauts. And the younger brother does it, becomes an astronaut. The other one is like a custodian and kind of a fuck up. So it's kind of like his redemption arc. And it's like really realistic in terms of the science behind everything. I liked it a lot. Psychopaths was another one I had on my list, and I think that was it in terms of beginner stuff. But like, it's an ocean.
Just wait to the advanced stuff, guys.
Yeah.
It's gonna shit's gonna go
It's
off.
such a huge ocean of content. Anyone who gets our list or our honorable mentions will have anime for days. It's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
for sure. A lot of the shows on my honorable mentions have already been said, so I'll rapid fire the rest of what I have here. It was like Full Metal, Dragon Ball Z, My Hero, Yuri on Ice. I have to say that because Laura loved that show and I watched it. It's really good. It's really good. Recommend that. Cowboy, Attack on Titan, Death Note, Sailor Moon.
Oh yeah.
I liked
yeah, we forgot
Sailor
about that.
Moon. I had a tuxedo mask. He's a baller, but the rest of the Sailor Scouts, they fight bad guys. So
They fight bad guys in dope outfits.
in dope outfits, yeah. They somehow transform and they get no armor from it, but that's okay. Pokemon. If
yes.
we never specified age, Pokemon was definitely one of those animes that I'm like, yeah, this rules.
Yeah.
Castlevania for Netflix.
sure.
Prince of Tennis was my other sports anime
sweet.
that I freaking love. Demon Slayer was one that I caught on to earlier this year.
I've only heard of Demon Slayer. I never actually bought to watch.
X?
I got
Oh, you need to
That's
watch
your
it,
next
my
show.
friend.
I
It
after
You
I'm
got
caught
it.
up on My Hero.
Well, after you're caught up in my last nomination, which is all of hentai.
Bye, tongue.
Okay.
Can I make
there's a
one
lot.
more honorable mention?
Please.
Cardcaptor Sakura.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's fair. Honestly, I watched a lot of that when I was younger. It was fun.
Yeah, that one and like was it Metabots? I think it was that I watched a lot of. But anyways, Cardcaptor Sakura is awesome. All right, guys. Wow, what a discussion. That was a long one today, but hey, we had so many recommendations, so many opinions about anime shows, and hopefully you learned a little bit about anime and about yourself along the way.
The takeaway is that you should start watching anime because there's something for everybody.
And I think the main takeaway is that Dragon Ball Z is not on our list, so our whole list is basically obsolete. So it doesn't matter.
People are just gonna look at our list and be like, no, all of their opinions are null and void.
Okay, you just need,
Yes.
Tongue, you just need to do top 5 Dragon Ball Z characters for another cast.
Oh my god. Well, it'd just be Vegeta. Anyways, hey Axe, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, no problem. I got you.
Do you have anything to plug, my friend?
Not currently. Still kind of in limbo because of everything that's happening because of the Rona that won't go away. But I'm chilling. You know, I have a cat now, which has been very nice. I'd like to plug my cat Jake one more time. Jake Sama is the best. And that's kind of it. I'm
That's awesome.
listening to a lot of new music, watching a lot of anime, playing a lot of video games.
Yeah, if you have to choose one video game to recommend, because obviously you said so much anime, so plug one video game for the people that they should play.
So there's a game I'm playing a lot of. It's a roguelike, which is among my favorite genres. It's called Hades. It's based on Greek mythology. You play the fictional son of Hades who's trying to escape the underworld. And so you fight monsters on your way up and out. And it's done by the same people who made Bastion and Transistor and Pyre, Supergiant Games. So the voice acting is top notch. There's miles and miles of voiced dialogue. The graphics are really nice. and it's leaving early access sometime this fall. It's not even fully released yet, but there's already so much content. Play it. It's on Steam. Do it.
And it's coming to the Switch.
It
so
is,
there you
right.
go. There
And
you
it's
go.
roguelikes are perfect for the Switch. Do it if you have a Switch.
There you go. Whitney, Ronald McDonald Chen. That's not her
Say
nickname.
my name like that.
You just love McDonald's, and I need people to know, since it's your first podcast, that this is a thing that you do. Thank you for being on the cast, and of course, I hope you had fun. Now, do you have anything to plug, whether it's something creative that you're working on, your fan fictions, or anything else that you want to plug in life?
Oh, should I plug my fan fiction?
Yes, please do that.
Do it.
Oh, it's not done though.
So,
Okay, well, if you are interested in Soul Eater fan fiction, you can find me on AO3. My handle is Whitney, WHINNIE, and I will soon be publishing Breath of the Wild fiction too. So
Oh,
There you go, guys. It's going to be something. She's been working on this for quite a while. I've been giving her nothing but bad ideas so that she would only have good ideas left over.
Wonderful.
So thanks, Whit. And of course, Kalvin. Here we go. Kalvin Nhan. How are you?
I'm good. This took a lot out of me. I'm just like, yo, I feel so emotional right now, you guys.
Well, hopefully it's all of the emotion is positive and that you had a great time talking about anime with us. Do you have anything to plug?
I guess just you can find me on Instagram. I do a lot of ridiculous things. You can find me at Scotch and Swords on Instagram. There's actually I actually had someone tell me there's no Scotch or swords on your Instagram. Your whole thing is a lie.
wow.
What is it? It's a separate Instagram handle, but what is it for? It's just
Oh no, it's my main Instagram handle. It's got everything, all the projects I take on, and all the stuff that I do. So it'd be cool to connect with you guys on there.
Yeah, your creative stuff. I just want to elaborate because Kalvin he's not selling himself entirely here. He is a big creative, makes a lot of fun videos, all this other stuff. You should check him out. He does some good stuff. Kalvin, you want to mention one of the fun things that you've been doing lately on your social?
So I started making candles. There's these very specific memory candles. And so people will give me like a memory, and then I'll like parse out the memory, analyze it, and then like build them this candle that like when you light it, it smells exactly like that memory.
Whoa.
Whoa. Is this kind of like Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina candle?
I'm gonna say no.
She did it. Okay, it's not. Okay.
Actually, honestly, I don't really know, so I can't even say no to that.
Oh, so you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, it's a whole thing. She made a candle. It sold a lot.
And it smells
for
like
a lot
her
of
vagina?
money. She marketed it like it smelled like her
Doesn't,
vagina.
really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
well,
different.
yeah, that's what I've just been doing. So, collecting memories, building
Yeah, so
candles.
if you want
None of those smell like
Kalvin
vaginas.
okay, well, if you want Kalvin to make a candle that smells like your junk, let him know, and
Nice.
he'll do his best, I guess.
Yeah.
Noise.
Thanks, Kalvin. And for me, of course, you can find the rest of the shows in the Podcavern at www.podcavern.com. Several shows there, and hopefully more to come. Let's get out of here. Let's watch some more anime. I'm going to try this one more time. Fuck that up. All right, okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.